Pretty volatile week. I know a lot of people are scratching their head and saying, what is going on? So I think the analogy could be basically, if you think about a herd of animals locked up in a pen, and they're all running from one side of the pen to the other, thinking there's no going to be an end. We can just run forever. No one can stop us. And then you get stopped, and then you get scared and you start running in the other direction, right? So markets are not, do not go only in one direction. And we are living in a box or in a frame that is reality. And sometimes we have all this hubris and all this energy thinking that we can run up forever. But reality sinks in, gravity applies, and sooner or later, enough people kind of realize that we've hit a certain limit and we hit a wall, right? So I think I've mentioned several times the 12,000 level as a major resistance level. You can see us just breaching through that a little bit. When you breach through these resistance levels, a lot of people who are normally sitting on the sidelines jump in and short the market. They go and they start putting pressure against the markets, not just the crypto market. The same is true for the stock market, the bond market, the currency markets, right? The higher you go, the better the risk reward is for investors who bet that we've reached a certain peak, or we've reached a certain level that is representing a great entry point. So we have the 10,000, 12,000, 14,000. The good news is that we are still trading within that 10 to 12,000 level. So we held the 10,000 level pretty well. And we now have to come back to the 12,000 level with more vigor, more energy, more dry powder to break and stay above it. And then we will have the same kind of seesawing at the 12 to 14,000 levels. The reason these levels are there is it's not that I made up these levels. It's not like I came up with some number and I'm trying to convince everyone to follow my number. Again, there's 10,000 level is a very important level. It's something that most people have in their head as either major resistance or major support, right? If we're staying above 10,000, people feel confident. And these numbers, just if you look at the pattern or the historical price performance of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, you will see that there's a lot of volume and a lot of aggregation in those three areas that I mentioned before. So let's talk about a few other things. So if you look at the history of Bitcoin, the last 11 years, you would see that there are certain events that take place that really represent a major milestone or a breakthrough after which things change forever, right? And one of those things that just happened recently was the change in the OCC, in the governing body that kind of supervises most of the U.S. banks, right? All the U.S. banks. So what you have to think about what happened. Let me explain that from my point of view, and some of you may disagree or say, you know, I don't think that's what happened. But Steve Mnuchin, our Secretary of the Treasury, pulled out one of the top people in Coinbase and made that person supervise all the banks. So a guy from crypto was taken out and put in a critical position to supervise all the banks, right? That makes no sense whatsoever unless there's a much bigger agenda here, right? And the agenda is that we're moving much quicker towards a digital dollar. We're moving much quicker towards a crypto becoming mainstream. And they needed not just to allow banks to touch crypto, custody crypto, or transacting crypto, but they needed someone who is also thinking in the same lines as the administration does, right? It takes Obviously, Coinbase is trying to go public, and for them, having that person in that position is amazing. It will help dramatically for Coinbase to get a license and get the right permits to do what they need to do nationwide, even globally. So it's a very important step, not just for Coinbase, but also for all of crypto. And I think most of us in the crypto community, we read the news and we moved on as if nothing happened, as if it was like, oh, like Bitcoin hit 12,000, the OCC authorized banks to do the stuff, fine, let's keep going. No, this is a watershed event that will be looked at in the next 20, 50 years as the point at which everything changed, right? So another event just took place earlier this week that I think most people missed. Right. So this week we found out that Warren Buffett not just sold almost all of his banking stocks, or he dramatically reduced his holdings. I think he sold all of his Goldman Sachs. He sold something like half of his Wells Fargo. He was by far the largest shareholder of these institutions. So Warren Buffett, the most celebrated investor in the United States, probably one of the best in the world, has done something that he has not done in 70 years, okay? He basically is telling you, I don't believe banks are gonna make money, even though I'm getting paid amazing dividends from these banks every quarter. The value of money is gonna decrease so much that even with these dividends, I'm going to lose money, okay? And Warren Buffett does not like to lose money. Where did he move that money? So he sold, again, tens of billions of dollars worth of banks, and he decided to put it somewhere else. Did you guys pay attention? Did anyone notice what did Warren Buffett do? Normally, Warren Buffett tells. Yes, Zach spilled the beans and told you gold, right? But I was trying to keep the momentum, keep the what do you call it? No, I'm kidding. So Warren Buffett placed two bets, right? One was gold, not just gold, but he also bought a gold mining company, meaning he's betting that the miners who have basically, think about a gold mining company as having inventory in the ground, right? They have billions of dollars worth of gold already. They already own it. They own the mine. They own the rights for the mine. They own all of the gold in the ground. They just cannot get it out because it costs probably about $1,000 to get the gold out of the ground. So as long as the price of gold keeps increasing and the price of extraction stays the same, and I used to be in the gold business, so I know the details. But the point is that Warren Buffett is saying, I'm moving from dollars and the guys that know how to make money in dollars to other assets and people who know how to make money in those assets, right? A gold miner is someone who knows how to make money in that asset. So he bought the inventory. He didn't buy the gold. He bought the inventory. By buying a miner, you're taking, let's say, 10% ownership of all that gold in the ground because the miner owns all of that gold in the ground. Mm-hmm. So that was one bet. What was the second bet that he put? The second bet that he put, he bought 10% or 5%, between 5 and 10% of the 5 largest Japanese trading companies. Now that is easy. Warren Buffett has never done a trade like this. Yeah. So he sold his dollars and he bought people who make all their profit in yen. He bought probably one of the largest stake in all the trading companies who make all their profits in yen. Now, for those of you who are Warren Buffett followers, and I'm proud to say I'm one of them, for 50 years, Warren Buffett told you never bet against America. Every interview, Warren Buffett sat there and told you, 2008, right? I remember that critical moment where everybody was so worried and so nervous and didn't know where things are going. And Warren Buffett gets on TV, gets on CNBC and says, now is the best time to buy stocks. Now is the best time to invest in America. Never bet against America, right? And then he gives Bank of America $5 billion and Goldman Sachs $5 billion, right? He buys preferred shares in those entities, betting that these financial institutions will come back and will be able to make a lot of money on their dollars. This is the first time in history, first time ever, that Warren Buffett tells you, I do not believe that the US dollar will do well. I do not believe that the US dollar will do as well as the gold or as well as even the Japanese yen. Okay, so that is a huge statement. There is nothing more powerful than that. Obviously, he's not going to go on, he's a patriot. He's not going to go on TV and tell that on CNBC. But don't look at what they say, look at what they do. And what he's doing twice, not once. It's not a coincidence. It's not like, okay, well, I just bought this company because I really like them. No, you bought 5 of them. And all their profits are in yen. And you also bought gold, right? Which basically detaches you from the US dollar. So Warren Buffett is doing what Celsius has been telling all of our followers for the last 3 years. Every interview, every AMA, we've been telling you the same thing. You need to increase your allocation in non-dollar correlated assets. You need to increase your allocation in basically in gold, in crypto, and so on, right? Because all of your earnings, all your real estate, all the stuff that you own is denominated in dollars, and the value of the dollar will continue to decrease. Look at one of my last posts on Twitter, where the index is the gold, and you can see the top 10 currencies. What happened to the top 10 fiat currency over the last 100 years? Almost all of them are worth 0 or close to 0, including the US dollar, which lost 93% of its value since 1971. So I just want to stress this again. I know I'm repeating myself, and people will be like, oh my God, not again, Alex. You're wasting our time. Just answer some questions. Zach, take over the conversation. But the point is that it's very hard. For most people, it's very, very hard to say, look, the dollar has been amazing for 200 years. What the heck are you talking about? Did somebody put something in your coffee, right? So it's very hard to change behavior and more importantly, change it on a dime. Here, we're asking you to change everything you've done since you were born, right? Because in your lifetime, there was never a bad time, basically, to own dollars. But now is a very bad time. It's not just another recession. It's not just another incident. Right? The Fed printed more dollars in 6 months than it did in over 100 years. That has not happened. This is a storm that is a once in 100-year storm. And unfortunately, the history tells us that there's a 100% chance, right? If you look at the history of all fiat currencies, there's 100% chance that if you print more money, you're going to have inflation. Now, the chairman of the Fed just went on TV and tried to tell you that inflation is good for you. The chairman of the Fed went on TV and told you that even though they were pegged to 2%, they're now going to detach and allow inflation to run as high as it can. It's not that they're going to allow inflation. Inflation is like a Pandora box. If you open it even a little bit, you can never close it back. So the chairman of the Fed is warning you, is saying, I will translate what the chairman of the Fed said, and I'll say it in my own words. Unfortunately, I opened the Pandora box. Unfortunately, I printed something like $6 or $7 trillion, and I may need to print another 6 or 7 because I'm going to have to keep the US economy going during this corona situation. Because of that, now that inflation is out of control, it's already out of control. I cannot put a genie back in the box. I will not be able to maintain inflation. So I'm going to change my standard. Instead of keeping inflation at 2% or below, 0 to 2%, I'm telling you, it may run rampant. You guys have to do whatever you want. Okay, that is what the chairman of the Fed told us in very nice word. He told us that inflation is good for us. It's a normal thing. No, it's not. Inflation is definitely not good for us. Deflation is good for us, the people who hold the dollars. Okay, inflation is only bad for us, no matter how you count it. So all roads lead to decentralization. And unfortunately, the only way you detach yourself from all that is money over IP, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, all of these non-correlated assets, silver, tokenized gold, even better, right? Tether gold, Pax gold, which is coming to the wallet soon. Any day you should be able to see it. All those things are things that help you detach yourself. Think of it as an insurance policy. Do you have a life insurance? This is just another life insurance policy. It's just life insurance for your assets instead of life insurance for you as the owner, the breadwinner of the family. Okay, think about it that way, right? Think about, okay, I have $2 million worth of life insurance. Well, you need $2 million worth of doomsday insurance as well. How do you get that? Well, you need to divide it between these different assets. All right, so enough said. I couldn't stress it more. I am, again, I'm not trying to sell you anything. There's nothing I can sell you by saying these things. Okay, we don't sell Pax Gold. We don't sell Tether Gold. We don't sell Bitcoin or Ethereum. We don't make any fees on any of these things. So it's not like I'm trying to convince you to buy something that then I will make a commission on or benefit from or whatever. We care for our user. We care for our community. I'm sharing with you my thoughts. This is not financial advice. This is me telling you what I'm doing, and you have to make your own decision. You have to make your own research. All right, so I'll cover a few more things, and then Zach will help us with a bunch of questions. He has great questions. He told me he's really got very interesting stuff. So we sent an email to everybody talking about a maintenance period. All of that was planned before the herd got nervous and ran all the way to the other side. So because of the volatility in the market, we don't want anyone to feel like, oh my God, what happens if the market goes crazy exactly during the period that Celsius has locked me up. So we're going to defer, we're going to delay this maintenance. The only thing I can tell you is that the maintenance is because of very important and very exciting news, something that we're bringing up. So that was supposed to happen next week. We will still try to make it happen next week, but may be delayed by a day or two or three because of the maintenance period. So if the markets stay calm, we do the maintenance, we launch something very nice and new, and I think you're all going to be very happy when you see it. If you're not happy, let me know. Another huge news. We just raised the rates. I'm spilling the beans here again, Zach. See, so we raised the Ethereum. Why did we raise the rates on Ethereum? Because we're already paying good rates, right? But because of the DeFi boom and other opportunities, we're earning more, we're paying you more, right? So you'll see that. We usually publish our rates on Monday, but you're actually starting to earn more as of today, because the clock starts, I think, on a Friday. It's Friday to Friday, and you will find out what the bump is when we publish the new rates, I think, Monday morning. And we also raised the rates on Bitcoin, right? So now US users can earn 6.2% on the first 5 Bitcoins. You don't have to own any cell token. You don't have to do any magical stuff. You don't have to have a credit card. You don't have to jump through hoops, or you don't have to wear a Celsius shirt and unbank yourself. You just need to have some Bitcoin, right? So that is more than anyone else pays. Everybody else who pretends to pay you more asks you to put a lot of money somewhere else, or use their services, or lock it up for 6 months, or whatever. Celsius doesn't do any of these things. So your first 5 Bitcoins earn 6.2%, and all the other Bitcoins are earning 4.55, right? Again, which is on average. Even if you have 10 Bitcoin, you average that out, that is still more than anyone else pays you. If you earn it,
Alex, I have to tell you, I got no less than 20 direct messages about the new Bitcoin rate at 6.2%. They're asking me, is it true? Is it real? Can I earn? Can anybody earn? Absolutely. 6.2% on your first 5 Bitcoin.
Yeah,
amazing,
and test it out. Rate. Yeah, look, you get your weekly payment. We've published that more than a week ago. So when you get your payment on Monday, do the math. Say, okay, here's how much I have. How much am I getting paid? Obviously, if you have 6 Bitcoins, your first 5 are earning this rate and your next 1 Bitcoin is earning a little bit less. But the point is that you can do your own math and validate, or like Zach said, right? Verify everything we're telling you. And again, it compounds as well, right? So, and again, why are we raising the rates? We're raising the rates. I mentioned several AMAs in a row that we don't have enough Bitcoin, meaning we're fully lent out. There is so much demand. There's so much activity going on, both in DeFi and CeFi and institutional demand, that we need more coins. And when we earn more, we pay more. Most of our competitors have lowered their rates. If you've been watching, they might not have told you. They might have done it under the carpet without letting anyone know. But we not just have the highest rate, it's also that our competitors have lowered their rates. So we didn't have to raise the rates, right? When your competitor drops the rate below your rate, do you have to raise the rate? From a competitive standpoint, we could have just sat on our hands and collected all that extra coin and said, our users don't know that we're earning more. Let's just party. Let's get another Lamborghini or something, right? Yes, no interest. I'm very happy with my car, you know. So really excited about that. The more we pay, the more I'm happy, because you guys are earning more, you're yielding more, you're earning more. And again, you're earning it in non-correlated assets, which is the best, right? You are increasing your insurance policy in case something bad happens. If nothing bad happens, if I'm completely wrong, you have your job, you're earning in dollars, you still have your home, all of that stays the same, right? So it's a win-win scenario for everybody, right? I'm not wishing for a depression or wishing for hyperinflation or wishing for any of these things. Unfortunately, I just know it's coming. So let's see. So XRP fork, I know a lot of people are asking about it, and they're like, how hard could it be to just get that fork supported? So 2 things. One is, as you know, our job is to lend out the coins. That's how we earn yield. When somebody tells you, oh, sure, yeah, I'm just supporting the thing, the token, you should be asking, like, wait a second, aren't you lending out the coins? How can you support the fork if the coins are with somebody else? Are you really earning this yield, or are you just telling us you're earning yield and you're not really doing anything, if it's so easy for you to do it? So we have to recall all the loans. Obviously, the fork is in December, so we need to be ready for that period of time. And even though it's only like whatever, we have to keep it only for 1 day, it causes major distraction and disruption with our institution. So also, there were several instances where forks were used to steal coins from people. Some were intentional and some were not intentional. So we want to verify that there is no malicious code, there is no a hack attempt, even if it's not malicious, that you don't get hurt, right? We feel that it is our responsibility that if we're telling you we're going to support something, that you're not going to get hurt from it. And all you have to do is go to Cointelegraph or any other media source. Well, not every other, but the ones that tell the truth, and see for yourself all these hacks that are coming, that you see. Like somebody used the wrong version of a wallet and he thought that he was depositing coins for himself, and the hackers stole all of his coins. And I'm talking about stole his Bitcoin, not stole some shit coin that he was trying to transfer. Because he was trying to do something with a shit coin, they managed to grab his Bitcoin as well. So all these things are things that we care about, we worry about, so you don't have to, right? So if we say we support the Spark fork, that means we've done our homework. And if we don't support it, you have to understand that there's a major problem, right? Otherwise, why are we so adamant about not supporting? All right, so that's it for the updates today. Zach, you have a bunch of questions, so let's hit them and try to do as many as we can.
All right, thank you again, everybody, for submitting these questions. First one is coming from Sebastian. With more and more people turning to Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation and uncertainty, does Celsius allow small companies or family offices to deposit their coins to earn interest or take loans?
Yeah, so the answer is yes. We have onboarded probably over 400 of these family offices, small companies, institutions, a bunch of different people. There is a link right on our website for the corporate onboarding. So if you go to Celsius.network, on the upper right corner, you click on that, you fill up the form. You could still use your wallet, but we have to do some additional verifications, verify who actually owns the company, verify the jurisdiction that you're in. And many times, again, you may not be capable or allowed to do something in Texas, but if you have a New Jersey LLC, or you have a British Virgin Island Corporation or LLC, then suddenly the rules apply differently. So again, not your financial advisor. You have to do your own research, but a lot of people are taking advantage of the difference in the legal regimes to either do these type of investments from Puerto Rico or the Caymans or England or Singapore, or all kind of different places, which gives you certain advantage. It doesn't mean you're evading the law or you are not reporting your taxes, not at all. Okay, we're not talking about any of that. It's not like, oh, I went offshore and I'm hiding my coins. That's not what we're talking about. None of that is good. None of that is stuff we either support or think you should be doing. What we're saying is that you will be still reporting all your income. You would be reporting all the assets you own, but the tax law applies differently when assets are owned by companies, especially if the companies are not in the United States, or different states. If you have assets in Wyoming, right, it's very, very different than if you have crypto assets in Texas, or you have crypto assets in New York State. So you just have to do the homework. Again, all that information is available. Just use Google, put those words in, put Wyoming tax Bitcoin, and you will learn a lot. Okay, next question.
I opened up a company in Delaware in order to fully utilize my cell tokens because I had some restrictions. So 100% use the laws available to your best advantage.
Yep.
Okay, question 2. My bank charged me $30 to use the in-app ACH. What should I do?
So we didn't charge you. So as a farewell, kind of like the banks, what they do when they see money coming out, they send you a farewell, and usually they just take a last bite before the money will ever, because they know the money is not coming back. When it goes to somebody like Celsius, it never goes back to the bank, right? I mean, they pay you 100s of on average than what Celsius pays in interest income. So they take the last bite. They got to grab a $30 fee. We charge 0.1%, which is again not Celsius. It's our provider, either Wire or the SEPA provider in Europe that has a fee. We lowered that fee by, I think, 70 or 80%. So we don't charge any fees. These are bank fees, and that's why you have to unbank yourself. By the way, the fee is the same. The fee is the same if you transferred $1 or $1 million. So don't do small transfers, right? What eats you alive, both in DeFi and in the banking world, is when you do a lot of small transaction because you're not sure or you want to test stuff or whatever, right? That's when you get eaten alive with fees. Next question.
All right, Chris is asking, is there a release date for the new website and mobile app coming?
Yeah, so there is, I can't tell you because my marketing team will kill me, but it's coming very soon. It's very exciting. Zach knows the date, so he's laughing. He's like, you want to tell Zach? You tell him. You get in trouble. Come on.
I'm not saying anything.
So it's coming. It's ready. It's been tested. It improves a lot of stuff. I hope you like the colors. And we would love to get your feedback the minute it's live. Tell us what we did right, what we did wrong. And again, it's work in progress. We're still going to iterate and improve, but it's it's going to be a major milestone for Celsius. So next 2 weeks, maybe next week, be ready. Be one of the first to see it and write a review. I'll retweet you, and you can take the glory of being the first review of the Celsius app.
There you go. All right. Chuck is asking, I love the new stable coin rates. How are you able to pay so much?
So again, we earn more, we pay more. As you can see again and again, Celsius sets the bar for the entire industry. When we originally raised the rates, I think to 6%, people were going like, how is Celsius paying 6%? And then everybody paid 6%. Then we raised the rates to 8.6%. And what happened? Everybody else figured out how to make 8.6%. Right? Now we're making much more than that, so we raised the rates more. Now, where does that money come from? Right? So the main reason Celsius pays 100 times more than the bank is that banks are only allowed to deploy money in the fiat world, right? In their own world. We mostly deploy the money in the crypto world or in the DeFi world. And what happens in that world? In that world, if you're on an exchange and you want to go long, you want to buy Bitcoin on leverage, somebody has to provide those dollars, right? So Binance or Bitfinex or any of these exchanges where you can buy it on leverage, they have to have a source of dollars. And the source of dollars is usually either Celsius or somebody like Celsius. And we lend those dollars through the exchange to the user. And when there's a lot of users who want to go, right, then they're willing to pay a much higher rate. So normally the rate would be 10 or 12%, and we'll pay most of that 8.6 is most of that, right? Because we don't deploy 100%. We always have some in reserves. So when the rate jumps from 10 to 12 to 18 to 20, that's when we can raise. We still have some stuff locked up at 12. But as it frees up, we're reallocating it to be 18 or 20%, right? And same thing on DeFi. When you see the rates for USDC, you can take your rate, you can take your USDC and park it here or there to earn yield, right? That's all Celsius is doing. You can do it yourself. You can be up all night pressing the button, moving it from here to there, paying gas fees. But if you only have $1,000 and you're paying $30 on average to move your USDC around, then the fees eat most of your income. So instead of earning 18%, you earn 8% after fees. Celsius moves tens of millions of dollars. Like you can see it. You just go on the blockchain, look at our wallet, and see our average transfer, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. So when we move 10 million, we still pay only $30 fee on Ethereum, right? To move USDC, for example. But we're now earning 18% on $10 million, right? So we can pay you a much higher interest rate after fees, and that's why we raised the rates. Now, the competition now is choking because it was one thing to pay 8.6. Most of them barely paid that, right? They were all like basically saying, oh my God, I'm losing money. I don't have, hundreds of millions of dollars like Celsius to deploy on these things. I only got 2 million for my depositors, and that's just not enough to pay that kind of yield. So by raising the bar, we're also separating the wheat from the chaff here, right? The people that are really earning can do it, and the people who are not earning it are gonna basically either stay where they were or even lower the rates. And that's what you're starting to see. You're starting to see people lower the rates because either they don't have enough fiat, meaning they cannot earn that yield or cannot get enough stable coins, or they basically don't know how to deploy it. So stick with Celsius unless you want to be a farmer yourself. If you do, I have a great deal for you on a tractor, 30% off. No, just kidding. Moving on.
Okay. John is asking, Korean exchange BitThumb was just raided by authorities. Was Celsius working with them, and will that affect the users in any way?
No, we do not work with them. That raid might have been what triggered the flash crash effectively on Bitcoin and on Ethereum. I think the Korean community is a very, very active crypto community. I think it's the highest percentage of crypto penetration in the world. So like in Seoul, for example, for people who are 35 or younger, it's something like over 80% of them have crypto,
wow.
which is a great thing, right? But when they get nervous, again, when that herd gets nervous, they dump their coins, and then when everybody sees that they're dumping their coins, they start dumping it as well. So they created like a chain reaction that caused several $100 million in liquidations. And unfortunately, you've seen that also cause liquidations in the DeFi space. You've seen liquidations on different platforms. Celsius did not have a single liquidation, did not have a single event where our institutions did not cover any margin calls. So we are still virgin. Not many people can say that. Never got hacked. Not many people can say that. Moving on.
All right. Rubina is asking, I love how you share your view on crypto and answer questions. How can I contact you for an interview?
I've published my email 100 times, alex@moshinsky.com, my last name, and Mash in Sky. That's how you spell it, right? And just shoot me an email and, happy to do an interview. Next question.
All right. Stacy's asking also about the DeFi projects. Some of the DeFi projects are charging high fees and issuing tokens. Does Celsius plan to start charging any of these types of fees?
No fees from Celsius, but it's a great question because there's a difference between the gas fee that you're paying the miners on the Ethereum blockchain and the minimum fees that some of these DeFi projects have embedded into the protocol. So you may think that you're paying a miner, but really you're paying either the originator of the protocol. So if you think that you are mining or farming sushi, you have to understand that the protocol has a minimum fee. So even if the miner fee is 1/10 of that, they will get the rest of that as a fee, right? So many DeFi projects have put a minimum fee, no matter what the mining fee is, and they get to keep the rest of it. Also, you have to understand there's another fee, which most of you probably did not spend the time reading the smart contract and learning what it is. That's what I do when I don't sleep. I go and dig into smart contracts and read the code, right? It's all public code. It's all available. It's like a book. You can just open it and read it and see exactly what it says in there. So sushi, for example, has a 10% allocation, meaning a tax. They charge you 10% tax when you get new sushi or claim your sushi based on the contribution or deposit that you did on Uniswap or somewhere else. So when they issue new sushi, they also issue themselves sushi. And that is a tax, right? Just like the government takes obviously more than 10% and keeps it to themselves. So it's exactly the same thing. So you are enriching other people. You think that this is it's a DeFi project. It doesn't have any fees. No, that doesn't mean anything. There is no such thing as DeFi, no fees, CeFi fees. The opposite. CeFi, or at least Celsius, has zero fees, no fees whatsoever. And most projects in DeFi has fees upon fees upon fees. Now, again, you can write the DeFi code with no fees, okay? Or you can write the DeFi code in a way that helps everyone, like Uniswap. The Uniswap protocol, the Uniswap DeFi DEX allows the community to basically get 0.3%, and it's kept in the pool, very similar to Celsius, where all of the fees are collected by the pool and distributed pro rata to the people who are part of the pool, right? So Uniswap, Celsius, very similar model. One is fully decentralized, one is half decentralized, right? So all the stuff you're reading, right, that people tell you, oh, Celsius is not DeFi. Really? What is DeFi? Right? You tell me the definition of DeFi. If DeFi is no fees, then not a single DeFi platform is DeFi. Celsius is closer to pure DeFi than any other DeFi platform if you measure it in fees. So again, again, this is not about bragging rights or we came there first or we invented this idea. Yes, we did. But the point is, are you acting in the best interest of the community? Again, the first DeFi to pay you interest was Celsius. The first DeFi to give you one token for something else, you deposit USDC and you get, no, not shrimp and not sushi and not pasta. You get Cell token. That was the first time that was done in history. Now everybody's just copying that, which is fine. Go back 10 AMAs and watch me invite everyone to copy Celsius. Moving on.
All right, number 9, Karim is asking, what's the next innovation for Celsius ecosystem besides paying rewards and offering loans?
Did you just plant this question? Because it's perfect.
No.
So look, we don't want to tell our competitors what we're doing ahead of time, but we have no problem with people copying and improving and making things better. So we continue to innovate. Proof of community is I think is a huge innovation. It's not out yet, but when it's out, it will force everybody else to be transparent with you, because I think what you're starting to see, like there's a few projects, for example, that don't require any collateral or partial collateral, right? Most people don't understand that. They think that when they put their coins in Compound or they put their coins in Uniswap or this new thing that actually doesn't have any collateral, it's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. So if you're hopping from one project to the next because you think that you're going to earn more interest, one of these things is going to be a landmine and you're going to lose your leg, or you can lose all of your limbs. I'm a military guy, so I use military analogies, right? You don't want to step on a landmine. Not all things are the same, right? So again, you do your own farming, make sure you plant, tomatoes and cucumbers and whatever. Do not plant toxic food, okay? And you can land on one of those things and poof, all your money disappears, right? Because of a hack or because you bought something that you thought had a high yield and it had full collateral behind it and it doesn't, right? And poof, guess what happened to your collateral? It just got taken away. Even a smart contract, can take away your money if the other side does not fulfill their obligation of repaying, right? So the contract has to settle, and it's either going to settle from the borrower or it's going to settle from your contributed coins.
We saw one of the DeFi tokens, I think it was Hot Dog, going along doing its thing, and then all of a sudden just a rug pull straight to zero. And
so look, you will lose, many people don't understand that, but you can lose all your money. It's not that you lose 10%. You can lose all your money like this. And sometimes it's a hack, and sometimes it's somebody stealing stuff from you, and or it's a protocol that wasn't written properly, like what do you call it? Like
YAM.
Like YAM, right? Again, I don't think it was intentional, but it doesn't matter because the end result anyway was that the people lost what they were farming. So again, two options. You can farm yourself and read every smart contract, or you can let Celsius do it for you, and you still get to keep 80%. Now, because we lend to institutions and DeFi and exchanges, we have a blended rate. That's the advantage that you will never have. You will not be able to lend to these big exchanges. You will not be able to lend to institutions. They're not going to work with you. And you're not going to onboard with them and do all the KYC and AML and everything else. They have to check every 3 months, where do you live and who's the principal of the company and what's the risk and where is your balance sheet and so on, right? That's why they want a large institution that fills all their orders, that is the counterparty. So by working in the Bitcoin pool of Celsius, working in the Ethereum pool of Celsius, you get the benefit of all those things with an average rate that is still better than anybody else. That is the main advantage of doing this.
All right, great question from the chat here from Isaac. Alex, can you explain how the volatility helps Celsius earn more and charge more interest from institutions?
Yeah, so when the waters are calm no one needs a lifeboat, right? No one needs to borrow, whatever we have, right? The waters are calm. When the waters are stormy, then people need to hedge their position. Then the price gap between exchanges, for example, widens. And that's where you can basically, again, buy on Coinbase and sell on Bitfinex, right? And you can lock in, like you're taking zero risk, but you're only taking zero risk if the Bitcoins are yours. If you took dollars and you converted them into Bitcoin and you try to make that 1% and Bitcoin suddenly dropped 10%, you lost 10%. But if you borrowed those coins from Celsius and did the arbitrage, which is what most institutions do, you locked in the 1%, you return the coins to us, you earn that 1%, even though you just gave us dollar collaterals and you traded in the Bitcoin, right? So that's what most people don't understand. It's not about shorting. It's about market making and arbitrage. Market making and arbitrage, 10 times bigger than the shorting market. So when the waters are volatile, the demand for this increases. The rates we charge increase as well. The rates we pay you increase in return. The beauty is that because almost half of you said, I don't want Bitcoin, give me sell, is that I have to go to market and buy every week more and more and more sell. And we publish those charts. You can see the hockey stick of how much more sell we have to buy every week, right? So our model, unlike every other model, there's nothing like Celsius, not a single other company that does what Celsius does. If you think there is, go ahead, show me, and I'll prove you wrong, right? Our flywheel model is the only one that takes advantage of the stormy waters and converts that into buying Bitcoin, buying Cell token, buying Ethereum, and putting it in your wallet. It's even better than have somebody airdrop sushi on you, or airdrop pasta on you, or give you yums or whatever. Anything that is called a hot dog or sushi or pasta or shrimp, you should really be worried about, right? I think sell sounds a little bit better than that. Next question.
Yeah, a great contrast for DeFi is volatility is very dangerous for that market because there's so much leverage in how they operate. But yeah, Celsius operates even better.
Volatility, they have liquidations. When Celsius has volatility, we have record income.
Mm-hmm. That's the difference. All right.
We decentralize and distribute profits while other people centralize and distribute losses. Okay? Mark those words.
Sounds good. Okay. Goki's asking, will we be able to get a loan based on the total assets in our wallet instead of just individual coins?
Yeah, so we're working on that. Again, this involves a lot of testing. We're also going to offer higher LTV. So those are all things that will allow you to really have full access for all of your digital assets, not just one or another, and use that for many different purposes. So that's what we're building. And you will see that coming in. Again, every release, we're releasing more and more coins. Celsius has more coins, more tokens than anyone else, okay? Both that you can earn interest on and that you can use for collateral or for loans or for anything else. So that flexibility comes with more need for security, more need for financial oversight, right? Risk management and all that stuff. And again, I think we're leading the way there, setting the example for everybody else. But again, I welcome everyone else to copy us and give 80% back to their users. If they do that, if DeFi really charged you no fees and gave you more than 80%, their rates should be higher than ours. By definition, yes. Now go on Compound and go on every other site and show me one place where they earn more than Celsius. So what does it tell you? If they cannot match any of the Celsius rates, what does it tell you? They're just not earning that coin. Or they're giving you, look at the difference between the price to borrow the same coin and the price to lend the same coin. Why the difference is 30, 40, 50% sometimes on the Compound other protocols. It's because they don't have enough loans. They have too many depositors, not enough loans. They can only pay you a third, right? Out as so they're paying you 30%, 33%, 45%, never 80% or more. Rarely they'll peak to 80%, be there a few days, and then come down because, for example, there's no more yums and there's no more comp, or there's no more something else. Next question. Yum yum. Let's move on.
Jonathan is asking, can Celsius weather the next bear market? Will you still be around in 10 years? And are my assets safe to hold in Celsius for a decade?
Yeah, so look, we are building an institution, and we're not building a fly-by-night. This is not a yet another fork of Yum or of Compound or something else that is here just for the hype, and you don't even know who created it or who's going to be here tomorrow, right? So our job is to shepherd this community through the stormy times, through the calm times, when we went through several basically recessions in Bitcoin already, right? We were launched in 17 and 18. And so we weathered a few of them. And what we do and the way we designed is basically to benefit during the spikes, and avoid trouble during the flash crash, which is the opposite, unfortunately, like Zach said, of what's happening with most DeFi. DeFi pays you less as they spike because they have too many deposits, not enough loans, and they liquidate you and charge you stability fees and all kind of other stuff when there is a flash crash. Why? Because the main differentiator between Celsius and all these other projects is that we lend to institutions while they lend to retail. And retail behaves in exactly the same way. It's a correlated behavior to the market, where with Celsius, the institutions come and demand much more during the flash crashes, meaning we can lend everything we have out, where the DeFi guys, the pure DeFi guys, have everybody dumping everything on them and trying to get out when things are going through flash crashes, right? So exactly the opposite behavior. So again, which tells you that the people who copied us didn't copy our business model. They just copied the idea of paying interest, and they copied the idea of paying one token with another token, but they could not copy the things that make Celsius what it is, and the things that make us focus on the customer and focus on putting your interest first. Unfortunately, that is not true for many, many of these projects. When you dig into the smart contract and you look at all the fees and all the stuff that they do, or the exit scams, or all the stuff that happens over there in the farming world. We are doing sustainable farming while they're doing, the type of farming that you do in South America when you're just trying to grow some stuff that no one's supposed to know about and then run away with money.
Okay, all right, next question. Claudio's asking,
Sustainable farming.
News about Celsius?
Go ahead.
Any news about Celsius coming to Australia?
Yeah, so I mentioned before, we applied for a license there, waiting to get it. We are opening an office there. We don't have a date yet. We're going to hire a few people. So if you have experience, crypto experience, either on the trading side or on the institutional side or on the loan side, we're looking to hire. We have 36 positions open. I posted, I think, 4 or 5 of them. But basically, we're looking for everything, more of everything. And if you're down under and you think you're a Celsian, you can teach us something. You have to come and show us, something we don't. In any of these areas, it could be in marketing, it could be in any of the stuff that will make us think, wow, you're adding to the team, right? You're increasing the intellectual curiosity and the intellectual knowledge that the team will have if we make you part of the team, which is what Zach did, right? Zach proved himself several times, and we made him a full Celsian instead of just an ambassador. Next.
Happy to be here. All right, question from Felix. How has COVID affected the company?
So we were a distributed company before COVID, right? We had people in, 12, 13 countries already. We were working out of our homes. We had an office, but we were working in both areas. So it didn't really impact us that much. It's not like all of us have to be in the conference room every morning to do something. But the community, you could see, like, basically starting March, there was a doubling or tripling of the adoption rate. And I don't think it's just us. I think crypto in general just saw the surge in demand, surge in adoption. So we're benefiting from that. It's very sad to say that we're benefiting from the COVID situation, but I think digital currencies, digital assets, when you move electrons, right, when you move bits and bytes, those businesses are doing very, very well. And if you move atoms, right, if you are manufacturing furniture, or if you're making clothing, or if you are you have a restaurant, you're obviously not doing so well. So fortunately, again, for us, we're in the digital economy. We are the future of the digital economy, the future of finance. So the acceleration in adoption is what allows us to become basically profitable overnight and grow even faster and hire all these people and provide jobs and opportunities for people all over the world.
All right. Mike is asking, Alex, the traction Celsius is gaining now is clearly agitating the competitors and painting a target on the platform, not just FUD, but security. How confident are we that we can prevent malicious hack attacks that will surely increase with this attention?
So there's definitely, you know, when we used to take small bites out of the competition, and for us, competition is also exchanges, right? Because a lot of our customers basically move their assets from exchanges. So we picked a few more enemies, or people who think that what we're doing is bad for them. Obviously, it's not bad for the community, but it's bad for them because they didn't have to do anything. If you were an exchange, you didn't have to do anything. Now you have to do interest income, and you have to do all this other stuff, loans and everything else that Celsius does, just to keep your customers from leaving. So yes, we have a bunch of enemies, a bunch of people who spread FUD about us, say bad things, pay influencers not to talk to Celsius, pay reporters not to write positive things about Celsius, or writing inaccurate or incorrect things about Celsius. So, you know, I've been there before. The phone companies used to do this to me all the time. They called me a crazy person and a lunatic and whatever. So actually, I think some of the media guys in crypto are being nice to me. They're only, you know, they're only lying about me, you know, once a week or so. So I promised. They stop saying lies about us, I will stop telling the truth about them. So, but talking about security, which is the second half of your question, I'll tell you something that we never disclosed before, all right? Because I think it's important. So obviously everybody knows we're on Amazon Cloud, and we use a service called Amazon Shield. Amazon Shield is a very, very important piece. It's like a container. Just imagine that this room was made completely out of glass. And even if you're asleep, or it doesn't matter what you're doing, anyone who's trying to get into the room, it cracks the glass. And the minute it cracks the glass, you know that there's an intruder, and you lock everything down, right? So it's not our service. We didn't create it, right? This is an amazing thing that Amazon provides all of their AWS customers, the ones who are willing to pay more for more security. Now, it takes tremendous amount of effort to do that, right? Obviously, Amazon has Netflix as the customer, right? So Netflix has, I don't know, 200 million users worldwide. And believe me, the hackers are trying to attack all these things, not just Celsius. So we are a tiny little thing, right? But we attracted so much attention that Amazon had to come to us and say, what all the fuss about Celsius? We are seeing all these attacks come. And I'm talking about a year and a half ago. I'm not talking about like last week, right? So we already, it's not that we are preparing for attacks. We went through some of the most vicious and severe DDoS attack that even raised the flag inside Amazon, right? Now, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, because it forced us to, DDoS is basically somebody hijacking 100,000 computers and telling all over the world, right? Your machine at home. They grab it, they take over that machine, and they tell that computer, you now, the only thing you're gonna do is point at Celsius and try to break their security, or try to break their firewall, or try to break their DOS, DNS directory, right? Because then you can try to get into the system. So, and again, attackers, I used to be a black hat hacker, right, in my teens. So I know a lot of these things, right? But they become so sophisticated. And sometimes these are countries, not specific individual. It's not a guy in a what do you call it, on the sofa in his mother's basement. Sometimes it could be North Korea or somebody else trying to steal those Bitcoins. So my point is that we went through all of that at the beginning of Celsius. We were the target when the prize was only 20, 30, $100 million. Now the prize is almost $1.3 billion, right? So we've been spending the last 2 or 3 years perfecting that and making sure that no one can get in, right? And like I said before, Celsius has never been hacked. Now, look at some of the other people who are copying Celsius. They're 3 months old, 6 months old, right? They didn't go through any of that. They did not graduate from the, Amazon Shield or all this other stuff that Celsius is talking about. So people say, oh, Celsius is just like BlockFi. No, it's not. It's not at all. Well, Celsius is just like crypto.com. No, it's not. Right? So if you really understand about computing and you understand about security and you understand about all this other stuff, and you look at our systems, you will see the difference. You will know right away. And we've done external audits, meaning these are people, professionals that come and audit your systems, audit your security. And they did find small vulnerabilities, which we addressed, but they didn't find anything that was critical, right? So my point is that security is not yes or no. It's not a check, okay, yes, they have security, or yeah, they have cold storage. None of those things means anything unless your entire infrastructure is built. I think I've talked about it in one of the AMAs. Unless your foundation is built right, then all the floors you have above you, it doesn't matter how many bells and whistles you have, you will get hacked, as happened to many of our competitors. Next question.
All right. A question from Alessio. I would like to request access to the Integration Partners API. How can developers experiment with integrating Celsius into their product?
Yeah, so our API is open. You go to our website, there is a link under partners. You can dig in, you can test. To get an API key, you either go into assisted or unassisted, meaning unassisted means you have to do it all by yourself. If you are too small for Celsius, not too small, meaning we don't care about you, but just you don't have yet users, you haven't launched yet, you just want to test stuff, you have to do it all unassisted. If you are on the assisted track, we give you a slot and we will work with you to launch. As you've seen, we recently launched with some of the biggest guys in the industry. Today, those guys occupy most of our time. So you have to convince us that you are important enough because of your community or because of the specific things that you're doing for us to dedicate resources to you. And we're hiring more of these resources. One of the jobs is helping, you being basically either a dev tech or being on the platform, helping people to go through these integrations. But the link is right on our website on the partners. Next question.
All right. Cell Spartan is asking, it would be great to allow non-fungible tokens to be parked in our Celsius wallet. We love HODL mode and the protection Celsius gives with our assets. Why not extend this to NFTs? I was toying, look, I asked my team, why can't we just open the platform for all tokens? Even if you don't pay interest, why don't you just allow people to HODL everything? A lot of people want these features that we developed. We have all these protections. And so it's just a question of having enough people and resources. If you're supporting 3,000 tokens, you're going to have 3,000 more questions, right? So you have to worry about customer service. You have to worry about, okay, I can't withdraw. I forgot to put a reference link when I deposit this stuff. Can you find my coins? All the stuff we do free today for our community times 3,000, right? Today we have 32 coins and tokens. Imagine that times 100, right? So the issue for us is really just resources and costs. All that cost means lower interest income for the Celsius users, because I have to spend money on supporting all of that, and that money means I'm paying less out
to all of you. So so it's just a question of balancing everything out, but I love the idea. I mean, I keep challenging our team to do more for free, and when we can do it, we will do it.
All right. Oliver's asking, do you have any concerns about quantum computing attacking a blockchain?
If you watch some of my presentations, especially the 60 slides in 60 minutes, I just tweeted that. So I think I'm talking specifically about quantum computing in there. I'm not so worried about the blockchain being hacked. I think, you know, a lot of the blockchains, the newer blockchains that are being developed are resisted to you know, quantum computing. And quantum computing can solve everything. It's not like it's some magical AI machine that has an answer to every question. You know, what is Satoshi private key? You know, like, it's not like you can just ask that question and quantum computer says, here is a string of digits, you're now a billionaire. You know, so the crux of the matter is that people who have quantum computers may be able to mine faster, and there will be this you know, bifurcated market in which very few people with access to these super machines can basically outpower the rest of the mining industry, which would create concentration problems and 51% attack problems and so on. But I'm less concerned about you waking up in the morning and realizing that your ether is now worth zero because you know, a quantum computer basically hijacked the Ethereum blockchain. So but no one knows. The main answer on this is that this industry is so young, and so it's not clear what quantum computers will be able to do. I think the only thing we know for sure in the last 50 years of computing is that computers surprised us and have done much more than what we anticipated. If you don't believe me, watch a movie from the 80s, okay? And look at people trying to use a cell phone, or they're trying to use a desktop computer, and look how little that computer or phone can do. And think about where we are today, right? So, or even the 90s, or a computer from 2000. So a movie from the 2000s. So just like we underestimate the progress over the long term, and this is, I'm borrowing this from Bill Gates, I think, right? We overestimate the short term and we underestimate the long term. The same thing is true about crypto, and the same thing is true about quantum computing. Next question.
All right, Ernest is asking, what do you think triggered stocks and crypto to drop so hard yesterday?
Yeah, so I would say Korea, but obviously stocks are not affected by some Korean exchange. So it's a few things coming together. Again, I think there was, we stretched the string too much, and just the forces for it to come back, even if it's just a little bit, have just been too strong, right? So you cannot just keep, trees don't go to the sky, right? So I think we went too much too far. Tesla going to some crazy number, and you know, all these things are telling you, I've seen this before. This is 2007, and this is 1999, and this is 1987, and so on. So these things happen again and again, where people think that money is free and you can just park it here or there and you'll make money forever. And all of us learn the visceral way, right, by losing funds or losing income, that you need to be, you need to take care, and you need to not take too much risk. And that's part of why, I mean, we could probably earn even more than we're earning today, but we don't touch any of these things that are outside of our comfort zone. So if you're a protocol that is not at least a year old, we're probably not touching it. If you're a blockchain that is not a year old, we're not adding you to the wallet. We're not harvesting or mining or farming or doing whatever it takes. So for us, the stability, the diversification, the right business model, as I described before, is a very important element. and that what gives you that stability. If you look at the average fees, the average rates that Celsius published, which are available on celsians.com. It's a site that monitors everything we're doing, and you can see them published. Now look at anyone else and look at their volatility, right? Going up and down like crazy. So if you take our average versus anyone average, I'm happy to compare yours to mine. Next question.
All right. Moman is asking, I heard there's been difficulty withdrawing coins at times. Will there be an option to expedite my withdrawals?
So there's no difficulty. It's not like suddenly we stop allowing withdrawals, right? Celsius actually now, we increased the cap. If Celsius had a problem or whatever, we would not raise, we raised the minimum, the maximum you can withdraw at any day to 50,000 and per transaction, and 150,000 in any 24 hours, right? So we wouldn't be raising it if we wanted to slow you down or stop you from withdrawing or anything like that. The opposite, we're trying to make it easier for everybody to do what they need to do. But because the gas fees on Ethereum are unpredictable, you could be withdrawing, and even though you don't know, it costs $50 to withdraw your $5 in Bitcoin or your $7 in Ethereum. So that makes no sense to us. It shouldn't make any sense to you. So right now we're picking up all those fees. When you withdraw, we don't charge you anything, right? We pick up the tab for all of your withdrawals, right? Show me another platform that picks up the tab after you have lunch or after you had a drink or after you went to the movies, right? No one pays for you. Celsius pays for you every time. Now, when the price goes crazy, we basically say, hey, we're going to slow it down. We're going to wait for it to come back. Usually it comes back in an hour or two, and then we just push the transaction through. We are planning to allow you to say, no, I don't care that it's $50. I want it right now. Here's my 50. Go ahead, right? So we are going to enable that so you can basically push it through. And we're going to show you the price. We're going to show what it costs, which is kind of normal on almost all wallets or exchanges, right? It's just that we never had to do it since we picked up the tab for you. Most people don't even know that. People will be like, wait a second, you're right. I've been a customer for 2.5 years. I've never paid a withdrawal fee. So there are some issues. We have people that withdraw a lot, and they're basically making it more expensive for the people who don't withdraw at all. If you're a real hodler and you never withdraw anything, you're earning a little bit less interest because we had to pay for all the other guys who withdraw every day because they're a trader. So we're trying to normalize that. We're trying to make it fair for everyone. There's no easy way, this way or another, to do it. And if you have a suggestion on how to do it in a more fair way than we are talking about here, then email me or send our team a message or go on Telegram and talk to the community. We will do what the community thinks is right.
All right. Amanda's asking, some business plans are not scalable. If assets continue to grow, do you foresee a time where supply of capital will exceed the demand?
Great question. And we have proven exactly the opposite. We have proven that as we went from 1 million in the coins to 1.3 billion in coins, we actually managed to increase the rates. The rates we're paying today are the highest rates in the history of Celsius. You don't believe me? Again, go to celsians.com. They track it from day one for every coin. They will show you what Bitcoin paid the first week of our launch on July of 2018. And you can compare it to today. And the same thing for Ethereum and everything else. So what Celsius has proven is exactly the opposite, that our business model is so resilient and is so powerful that we benefit, again, when the markets are volatile. So it doesn't matter if we have a 1 million, 100 million, or 100 billion, right? We will benefit, continue to benefit from that. The only time we don't benefit is when markets are flat to the side, right? If there's zero volatility for a long period of time, then all the institutions come back and say, look, I can't make any money. Here are your coins back. And we, in return, have to lower rates, right? So maybe we go from 100% deployment to 60% deployment or 40% deployment and so on. It doesn't mean we don't earn any money. It just means we're earning less and the rates go down. That's why we adjust our rates every week. Now ask yourself, for all of our competitors who do not adjust their rates at all, right? Or they adjust them by surprise once a year, or they adjust them once a month. Seriously, once a month? Things change from last night to this morning. You know, what are you talking about once a month? So I think, you know, the big question is not, is the model scalable? The big question is Celsius earning this, and are other people earning it? Or are they subsidizing, or are they just cheating? And Celsius soon is going to have proof of community. Every one of you will be able to vote to say, yes, I have this much in assets, and sign. It's not just vote like on some, here, I sent an email. You will sign, verifying by the blockchain that you confirm your assets, you confirm your interest paid, and so on. And if the aggregate accumulates to the amount that we said, obviously that is a proof of community. The community just proved that we have the assets, that we pay the interest. That is impossible to fake. If anyone can tell me how you can fake that, go ahead. I'm happy to go. I'll put you on a MOIP show and have you do a debate with me over a, you know, let us publish the protocol. It's all going to be open source. Again, I'm inviting everyone to copy us, especially Goldman Sachs. And then you can talk about transparency and audit trail and real-time information. And, oh, we are DeFi. Yeah, that is going to be the new standard for DeFi, proof of community. Moving on.
All right, great question from Dane. Is there a way for the unbanked in the US to make deposits into Celsius?
Yeah, we do not require a bank account. We do not require a credit check. We do not require all the things that a bank will ask you. And that's why many people don't have a bank account. We don't ask for any of them. The only thing you need is an ID, right? And soon, the next version of the Celsius wallet, you can just verify yourself with your cell phone without even a driving license if you're depositing less than, I think, $3,000. So we are continuously lowering the bar in a positive way, right? To enable more people to participate. And through that inclusion, we're extending this earning ability to the people who are the most at need, right? So when you see a lot of the other guys focused on, oh, how do I bring more whales? If you look at what we're releasing, every release, you will see that we are trying to include more and more parts of the population. And we know we're successful when we see the number of people joining increasing dramatically, which is what's happening, and the average deposit decreasing. We love that. We love when the average guy, you know, instead of giving us, I think it used to be 14,000. At one point, it was like 23,000. Our average deposit daily was 23,000. Now it's like 3,000 or 4,000. I love that. That tells me that we are achieving our mission from day one, right? 100 million users. You don't get there if you just open the doors for the whale and the fat cats, right? So I get, that's the best thing in my morning is to open up that number, the dashboard, and see thousands of people join, average deposit going down.
All right, question from Greem. Where would I find the best material to teach my friends and family more about what Celsius does?
Yep, so we have thousands of videos, articles, just use Google. There are thousands of reviews done about Celsius by people. Don't trust what we tell you, right? Go on Twitter, go on Telegram, go on YouTube, go on Facebook, go on every social media channel and see what other people are saying, right? It's what's the most important thing is what is the community saying? Now, again, you will see one voice here and one voice there, but we just crossed 100,000 followers on Twitter, right? I just sent a thank you to all of you for joining and following and contributing. When you have 100,000 followers or people who interact on the platform, you can't cheat anything. I love it. I don't remember the name of the guy, but there was a newbie who posted on Twitter and said, "Hey, is this Celsius thing for real? Is it a real or is it a scam?" And 80 of you went and responded to him in a direct message and said, hey, I used Celsius for 2 years. I used Celsius for 6. I was like, how many people are going to respond to this thing? Bang, 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 immediately, within 10 minutes, right? You can't fake that. You know, even if you have bots and you're trying to scam your way around it and so on, you can't fake that. So again, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that if you're a newbie and you don't know and you're not sure and you get hurt by this scam and that scam and you're like, you know, I don't know if this guy's for real. He probably rented this house and is just doing it for like all these other YouTubers who show me their Maserati and their Ferrari and they want to pretend like they're rich. I'm not doing it for myself. My wife, again, asks me like, why are you working so hard? It's a Sunday. Can we just go out? Nope, I got to work. I got to do this. There's millions of people who rely on this because the storm is coming. Armageddon is coming. And I wish I'm wrong. Okay, like I said before, I'll be the happiest guy to have caused all of this alarm and have all of you park too much in Bitcoin and there was no storm. Okay, I guarantee you Bitcoin is still going to be worth 100,000. Okay, it's a win-win. There's very rarely in life where you get to a point where something is a win-win, right? Most of the times it's 90% lose, 10% win. And you think, oh my God, I'm going to Vegas and I'm going to kill it. Or I'm going on DraftKings and I'm going to kill it. No, you're not. By definition, they didn't have all those palaces built because you were earning money. So here, this is a very unique situation where there is a win-win. And that's why I took it, and instead of grabbing it all to myself and adding a few more hundreds of millions of dollars to my balance sheet, I'm trying to distribute this to 100 million people and add just a few $1,000s to every one of you in interest. That is the goal. Walk you through to retirement, walk you through to financial independence, so you can sleep good at night and not worry about your bills or your future or all the stuff that make us lose sleep. All right, we're running out of time. I'm going too long. I'm going to keep it short. Next question.
Okay. Are there any updates on the web application for desktop?
Coming up. Ryan is on it. He's doing the beta. If you applied for it, I think like over 100 people applied for it. Mm-hmm. It's coming. Ryan, send them the information. Let's get on it. Come on. It's a beta. It's not supposed to be perfect.
He said that he's working on it. He's working on the new website as well, but that is coming up and all the beta testers will be utilized.
Yeah, you'll get your first invite next week. I think you have to sign an NDA, so fill up the NDA and then you'll have access. Again, this is not there's still a new website, there is still a new app. This is not that. This is something special that allows you to validate and see the detail and see stuff that goes into the guts of Celsius and allows you to validate all the things that you had to rely on us that we promised you. Now you can go and say, okay, I want to watch every AMA. I want to see what Alex said. And okay, now go into the system and validate that all of that is actually being done, that it's happening, right? I earned this interest and it's compounding. And what is my percentage of the community and all this other stuff. So all really excited about that. Again, opening the kimono. If we were trying to lie, that's the last thing we would be doing is raising rates, opening the kimono, increasing the limits. We're doing the opposite of every fodder tells you we're doing. Every day we're doing the opposite, right? So you decide you want to listen to them or listen to us. There are a few DeFi websites that list BlockFi and all kind of other places and do not list Celsius. The only one missing from the charts is Celsius. Why do you think that is happening? Look at who created these documents or created these comparison sites or whatever, and ask yourself, why are they excluding the only company that it pays the most, has been the longest, invented this category, right? They're fucking afraid, shaking in their boots, losing millions of dollars. That's what the answer is. Moving on.
All right, last two questions here. D is asking, are there financial statements available from Celsius to see?
Yep. So unlike every company, go to crypto.com, ask them for a financial statement, right? Go to anyone and ask them for a financial statement. You're not going to get a financial statement for BlockFi. Celsius does file with the UK authorities. It's called the Companies House, every year after we complete our audit. So we cannot, again, this is a government body. You cannot just go and file some number that doesn't matter. You know, it's not like showing your financials to your accountant. That's not how it works. Okay. So we are finishing the audit. The minute it's finished, it will be filed. And as we did last year, we will publish that link. It's a public document. Everybody will be able to see it and tell us, we like this, why did this, that? Alex, on March 1st, you said this and that, and this, the number is here. And again, there are fathers, there are people who went to our last year filing and then started spreading fake news and fake information because they don't know how to read the balance sheet. We always borrow, so we have liabilities, and we always have assets that we receive, right? So when we show liability, that is our business, is to lend out. When we lend out or when we borrow dollars because we don't have enough, we have a liability. That is just how our business runs. Like what drives me crazy is when these people don't even call you. They just go make a statement, they write an article, they call your vendors or your customers and pretend to tell them truth when they know that they're telling lies. That is just tactics that even when I grew up in Russia, even the KGB didn't do shit like that, you know? So this is just tells you how much pain they're in. They wouldn't be going through all of that if they were not in pain of losing customers every day to Celsius. Moving on.
All right, and our last question here. What does it take to be a Celsius ambassador?
It takes passion. It takes commitment. Ask Zach. Zach, you answer this question. Go ahead.
Yeah, it takes real passion and studying what we're doing and why we're doing it. Like the idea that this company is paying people every week real high interest on their savings, on their crypto, is life-changing. So to be able to share that with people, with your friends, with your family, with people at a meetup, that this is a company that's truly acting in your best interest. And if you can communicate that message, I think that makes you an extremely valuable ambassador.
Yeah, look, I like all of you, I had many jobs in my life, and many times you're in a job where you just don't like what you're doing, and you're looking at your boss or you're looking at the guys in the boardroom and you're like, oh my God, these guys really don't care about anyone, right? So very rarely you can combine what you care for and find an institution or company or an individual that actually thinks like you, right? And what we're looking for is people who think just like us, who care about others, who put others first, who care about the well-being of society, who care about even the financial system. Of course we care about the financial system. That's why we're saying the current system is so bad, right? So if you have all of those ingredients, then you need to be a Celsius ambassador, and you make money being a Celsius ambassador. It's not, we don't pay a salary, but we give you all these incentives that help you pay for the time you're spending on the stuff. When you bring people to Celsius, when they take a loan and all that stuff, right? So we basically, you get to participate in the growth of Celsius, but you do it on a part-time. And you do it on your own schedule, and you can just do, okay, one video in Turkish and you're done, right? That's fine, no problem. And that video will run, and when we are 100 million users, you will be the first video in Turkish that got the most views and got the most referral fees. So right now is still an excellent time to join. Again, we're only 160,000 users, right? That kind of downloaded the app and started using this. So it's an excellent time to become, I think we have what, like over 700 ambassadors? How many?
Yeah, we just crossed over 700 this week.
Yeah. So, and Zach by himself is managing 700. How do you do that and still have time to talk to me every week? So
it's like a big family.
Yeah. So if you have a unique talent or a language skill, or you can translate, or you you want to do your own AMAs, right? Or whatever. We are open to all ideas, right? We want to experiment. What we need to hear though is that you're committed to the cause. You're thinking like us. Show us something you did in the past. I volunteered to the Red Cross. I was in a food kitchen, or I did. That immediately tells us that you care for others. You have empathy, right? the more empathy you have, the more you become a Celsius ambassador. So this is not about, oh, I'm an expert in crypto. That's not the requirement. All right, guys, this has been amazing. Thank you very much. Again, record after record after record. Again, record deposit every day. I think we had like something like $5, $6, $7 million in net deposit. Some days we were like 15 million, 5 million of withdrawals. Huge numbers, right? Triple, quadruple what we usually have. Thank you for supporting Celsius, for being loyal, following us on Twitter. I think YouTube just crossed 20,000 followers. I mean, amazing. We're hitting records in every social media channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, everyone.